Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show special Saturday edition Q&A where I get to answer your questions. And good morning, YouTube. That is clever. YouTube, EWE. I love some of the names I see on here. So let me start out by letting you know where we're at this morning. We have 12,600 homes on the market, and I'm going to share an important number with you in just a second. We have 4,960 homes come on the market the past 7 days, of which 3,294 went under contract, and it looks like this. And you can see the number of homes going under contract is shrinking. We're down to, we have a difference between contracts and listings of 1,666, which is pretty big. Good morning, Jackie. Now, folks, here's the interesting part about the number of listings that we have out there. And Jackie pointed this out to me this morning. And we real estate agents sit around on Saturday morning and gather data and look at stuff. And you probably didn't know this. I didn't know this. Jackie probably did. Half of the listings are vacant. Why is that? Well, that tells you that they're either investor owned or they're new construction. Now, this kind of bodes well with my question of how high will listings actually get as things soften if all the investors decide to unload their property. Let's say Open Door decides to get out of this and OfferPad and every other investor. Are we really going to spike up like we did in 2007 to 55,000 listings? Because it doesn't look like the average homeowner, where 53% of them have mortgages under 4%, are listing their homes in mass. Not if half of them are investors and new construction. City of Maricopa, between 400 and 600,000, has 277 listings on the market. Interesting, the average homeowner isn't listing. I don't see it. It doesn't look like it. What happens when the inventory of 32K new builds hits the number? Excuse me. I had a cashew before I got on here. That's a stupid mistake. You know, I don't think they're all of a sudden just going to dump on the market. I mean, people are buying them, and so I think there is a lot of new builds out there, but I don't think that, they're just going to have a fire sale one weekend. So it's a number to watch, though. We're already seeing more and more new builds putting their listings on the MLS, which they haven't been doing. They haven't needed to do it. And they're offering higher sales commissions for agents to bring them buyers, which they haven't been doing that at all. I know Lennar Homes doesn't give you diddly or squat if you bring them a buyer. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going on with those numbers. Now, right now, we see here that listings under contract are going down. You can see there compared to the past couple of years. And Jackie says, same builders who wouldn't even talk to us a year ago. Yeah, I know. Good morning, Daniel. And then here's the annual appreciation rate. So you follow this. It shows us that at the end of the year last year, real estate went up 27.5% on an annual basis. Now it's coming down, and we are up annually 26.6. But if you follow this line this way, where are we going to end up at the end of the year? Maybe 16, maybe. So that's not exactly falling off a rock. See what happens. Derek says it's insane how fast supply is climbing. Yeah, it's kind of wild, but I don't know if it's just that supply is exploding, but the contracts. It's the difference between. I mean, we were doing like 4,100 homes come on every 7 days, and then we would have between 3,900 and 4,100 homes go under contract. So whatever came on, people just scooped them up. So the number just stayed there for the longest time, for almost 2 years. Well, now all of a sudden, you got, 4,000 homes, like today, 4,960 homes come on, but only 3,200 of them going under contract. So the number of homes going under contract has never been high. It's always been relatively low when you look at the market, but it felt like it was high because it was such a frenzied market, because there weren't a lot of homes available. It's like going to the car dealer saying, and there's 30 of you, and you go on the lot and they have 30 cars. Well, you're going to have a bidding war because you only got 30 cars. Each of you can choose one. Now, if you go to the car lot and there aren't 30 of you, there's only 25 of you, but they've got 60 cars, it's a whole different market. And that's the way real estate's offering right now. Lender will offer 40-year mortgages. There is a product out there, it's a 40-year mortgage. It just, the first 10 years are interest only. I really don't like it. I guess it gets you in the home, and you can probably refinance it later, but it's not that attractive. I've noticed rental prices have increased in Gilbert. They've pretty much increased everywhere. And when I look on the MLS, they've only gone down maybe 2 cents per square foot. SmackMac says, I'm a second homeowner and I have felt the pressure to list due to fear of missing out. Maybe that's what a lot of people are feeling. I think investors are feeling that maybe somebody rang the bell. Right now, remember we said that nobody rings the bell at the top of the market. Nobody rings at the bottom. I think the bell rang the first week of May. And so I think that there is some fear of missing out where people are listing because they want to grab their capital and put it in safe havens, because or maybe, I don't know, get a tank of gas. I went to get gas yesterday. Has inventory increased in the surprise area? Let me look that up for you. I got gas yesterday at Costco. I was going to fill up my truck. You'll love this story. And the pump stopped at $100. Now, normally, I can't think of a time in my life where I ever got mad that I couldn't put in over $100 worth of gas in my tank. But there I was. I got 3/4 of a tank of gas for $100. And I mean, that ought to tell you just about everything you need to know about gas prices. Here is Surprise. Surprise got 415 homes on the market this year. Last year they had 170. We've gone past 2020 levels, which was when it started to come down. So I hope Jerome Powell has good security. Yeah. Yes, $100 is normal at most places. Are we still on track for a balanced market in August? I believe so. I believe so. And I can show you that by looking at the Cromford Market Index, if I can find it. You know, I find this stuff really easy when I don't have to find it quickly. There we go. All areas, all types, daily chart. Could you check Mesa? Yeah, I'll check on that. Look at that. All the way down. We're down to 230. We're almost to the balanced market in Buckeye, Queen Creek, and Maricopa. So, and a lot of that is new builds going on. What we're looking at inventory. Let me see if I can find that here for you. Yeah, I was at a Circle K, and what they do is they pre-authorize your gas, and they cap it at $75. So let's see. What are we looking at again? We're looking at Mesa. Okay. Bear with me, folks. We're doing this live. Okay, here comes Mesa. Now, if I miss your question, ask me again, because you can see how it scrolls up. Mesa's got 836. Kind of looks like Surprise. So 836 versus 438 last year. And same with Chandler. Okay, let me do Chandler here for you. And then we have a couple more questions. Cave Creek 2 is crazy seeing how much construction there is, though. I see a ton of commercial flex space going up around me in Surprise. There's a lot of stuff going on out there in Surprise. Let's see. I'm going to pick Chandler, and I need to get rid of Mesa. And I don't think I have Gilbert on there anymore. So that hasn't pulled it up right. Is that correct? Chandler. Now we'll do it. What do we got? 434. Let's see. Do you think the increasing supply and recession will drop more than 10% in value? It's always hard. You can never look at a recession per se and attach a number to it. Like GDP is down 2.5, therefore real estate's going to go down 8%. There is no historical data that lets us measure it correctly. All you can do is just look at where the current rate of appreciation is right now as we go through these charts and just kind of look at the direction. So like I just showed you right now that maybe we're going to end up only being up 16% for the year. Right now we're up like 23, and we can extrapolate some data from that as we go forward, but just be able to say, here's where I think we're going to be next year. I just don't have the numbers. Fred says, what's happening in luxury market like Scottsdale and Paradise Valley? You'd think less buyers. Actually, they're their inventory hasn't spiked, and that's pretty much a summer thing up there. There isn't a whole lot going on. Let's see if I can look at analysis by city here of active listings and see if I can pull up Scottsdale and Paradise Valley. Have sellers in Surprise area been dropping their prices? Right now, everywhere, we have almost 4,000 price reductions on the 7-day moving average. That is a lot. Let's see, this pulled up everybody here. Listings under contract. That's not what I was looking for. Active listings. Let me pull up Paradise Valley here for you. Yeah, I mean, and that doesn't mean that prices are coming down. It means expectations weren't being met. So here we are. This is Paradise Valley. They're only at 110 this year. Last year at 137, 2020, 280. So while listings are going and blowing past 2020 levels, that's not happening in Fountain Hills, North Scottsdale, or Paradise Valley. How much of the current numbers are seasonal versus economy? In the overall numbers, it's not really showing up as seasonal. It's defying the seasonal trends. In places like Paradise Valley and Scottsdale, Fountain Hills, some of it is seasonal. They're just kind of sitting on the sidelines right now. If I look at, and I show you on my chart here, this is the 7-day moving average where I track price reductions, and you can see it's spiked way up there. So that's definitely going on. And then for those of you that are trying to analyze, I did this on my show yesterday. How much is it? 25 to 30K is what mentioned as balanced in 2008. Is that the same for 2022? You mean the reduction, how far home price is going down? I don't think I can even equate this to 2008 because it's a totally different animal. There's just so many different moving parts in this market right now than there was during the financial crash. I mean, that was, everything just died then. The loans were stupid, and we've talked about that a million times. So Cromford number takes into account seasonal, and it's dropping. Is it true September is usually one of the best months to buy in Arizona? The hard part for answering that question now is after the 2 years we've had, it's hard to even analyze anything seasonally. 2020 we had stay home. 2021 the market was absolutely nuts. 2022 we're starting to see more inventory and sales drop. We had a huge spike in interest rates. Kind of hard to tell. I think the best time to get a good offer is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, because they'll accept that. Nobody else is looking. They want to say, hey, we sold our house at the Thanksgiving dinner. The Friday after Thanksgiving is one of the best open house days ever. That's probably the only holiday where that's a good time to have an open house. But it's a lot of looky-loos. Aunt Millie and Uncle Bob are here from Ohio, so you take them out to look at a house. August, we will see $8 Arizona gas and 8% interest rates. I will write that down. That could happen. Who knows? But here's what I want you to play with. This is a spreadsheet, not a spreadsheet. Yeah, it's kind of a spreadsheet, where I put in a purchase price here. I put in the interest rate here, and it gives me a payment. So there's a monthly loan payment. It's assuming a 20% down payment. You can change that number if you want, but I just, for giggles, just put in 20% down payment. Gives you this payment. Then I come down here and I go, what if interest rates are 8%, like Jose just said right there, and prices went down by 25%. Well, now your home is worth, instead of $500,000, it's only worth $375, but the interest rate went up, so you're going to save $249. So what if the interest rate remains the same, 6.2? Now you're going to save $612. So you've got several different scenarios that you can play with here. You can put in what you think the price change is going to be and what you think the interest rate is going to be, and you'll get your scenario. That helps you make your decisions on where you think you might want to pull the trigger, whether buying or selling, particularly buying. Because a lot of people are saying, well, I'm waiting for, well, what are you waiting for? If you're waiting for prices to go down, then put that number in there. I think they're going to go down 10%. Put it in. And if you think interest rates are going to be high, put that in too. go ahead and put in crash numbers. In other words, just monkey around with that as much as you want. It helps you get grounded in the numbers. If you just email me at rick@rickhelps.com, I will send it to you. I think I sent out 10 yesterday. So I won't be sitting around all day today sending those out, but I'll send that spreadsheet out to you. And don't worry, I won't spam you. Now, let me get caught up here. The inventory in 2008 was considered balanced around 25 to 30 due to an influx of people. Is 20 to 30,000 still the number? Inventory is balanced. Smack. I think that's a safe number, but that was like, 15 years ago, and we have a much larger base right now. So 30,000 plus maybe is more of a balanced market. Jackie, are you seeing more cash buyers as interest rates increase? A lot of the cash buyers we were seeing were either investors or people coming over from California. So I can't say that we're seeing an increase just because rates have gone up. I think cash buyer is a cash buyer. So Elon, hurry up and buy Twitter already. There's a lot of stuff going on. And Jackie says she's seeing a lot less since the stock market. I had one close here in Scottsdale, and the seller was saying, hey, he changed his down payment amount. Can he do that? And I said, well, have you seen the news? The stock market collapsed. So he probably didn't have as much cash as he used to when he wrote that offer. And yes, they can do that. You're not legally bound in the contract to stick to that down payment amount that you put it in. You're just legally, you have a financing contingency. If you can't obtain financing, then you can get out of the contract. Tyler says the only way people leave their homes is if they lose their job. Otherwise, we're looking and waiting for new build prices to come down in a depreciating market. Jackie said, I had a buyer cancel after they lost money. There's people putting off their retirement because of the stock market. So it's an interesting time right now. I think, everybody's waiting for something to happen in the real estate market. I think for buyers right now, the harm that you have in the risk, the risk that you have in waiting is just an interest rate risk. So, use that tool to determine, what an impact that could be. Because we really don't know how high they're going to raise the rates. We can guess. It's kind of like, what's that one quote I said that the only good thing about economists is that they make astrologists look good. Open Door purchased the house next to me 4 months ago and has done nothing with it. I'm guessing they're doing that to help influence the other property price they have in the area. No, I think they probably have a labor shortage. These guys that are buying the houses and trying to do something to it are just having a hard time getting their staff out there to paint and fix it up. I've also had some people talking about stock and getting ready to buy real estate if deals make sense. So yeah, rates could actually get to 8%, but won't less demand help out VA, FHA buyers actually getting their offer accepted? Absolutely. You're going to see so much more flexibility now. Nobody's going to turn their nose up at an FHA buyer, and they should never turn their nose up at a VA buyer. VA buyer has already put their skin in the game by serving, and VA loans are good loans. They're really the only ones that the appraisal doesn't come in, that they give agents the opportunity to send more comps and adjust the appraisal price. It's called a Tidewater event. You don't get to do that with FHA. That comes in, that's it, done. VA, they just send you notice. We have Tidewater. They don't tell you how far off they are. So if rates climb to 8, I think there's a pretty good probability at some point they'll be there. How long they stay there, I don't know. Because here's the tricky part. What can the Federal Reserve really do now to tamp inflation if it's primarily driven by food and fuel? They have no control over that. They can squish our economy, and maybe that'll cut demand on fuel, but they don't want to do that. VA loans are good, especially if you have VA. Honestly, I get lots of VAs accepted last year, more than FHA. So getting back to the central banks, I mean, I don't see them going up as aggressively as Paul Volcker had to do during Reagan's term. He raised that prime up to, I think, 18%. That would absolutely devastate us. Not that it wasn't bad in the early 80s. It got really bad, but we've got way too much debt now, and they can't do it now like they could back then. We have way too much debt. So when they raise that rate, the government ends up paying more interest, not just you and me, and the whole financial system could collapse. So they're trying to do a slow little dance here to bring things somewhat normal. But unless you lower the price of fuel, we're going to be dogging along for a while. If you have disability, the administration fee is waived with the VA loans. That is true. That is true. So I think I keep hounding on fuel, but that's driving everything right now, and it's just incredibly irritating to me that this group doesn't want to do anything about it. Not that I think it's an easy fix, but I think it's fixable, and nothing's being done. So I think we're just going to wallow in it till Lord knows when. I think that we've got real estate agents already seeing an impact on open house traffic, and I don't think it's for lack of buyers, and I don't think it's for lack of activity. I just think I don't want to spend $50 driving around looking at a house today. There are YouTubers already screaming 100 BPS next month, waving their arms. That's got to stop. They don't know. I mean, I don't see them going up 100. They just went up 75 now, and the market was satisfied with that. I don't see it. A lot of these crasher YouTubers out there, look, real estate doesn't change that fast. Even the numbers we're seeing right now is telling you where things are probably most likely headed next year, not next month. Go back and look at 2005 numbers. It was still a year and a half before things changed dramatically. We still had prices going up when every indication was that things were going to change dramatically. And what's the average credit score? Because when they quote rates now at 6%, only a 720 FICO score, and I would assume most are not 720. Actually, the FICO scores for the consumers out there now have been around 720. They've been very high. It was when people got those stimulus checks and stuff, they paid off debt, and when they weren't out buying a home, they were paying off as much debt as they could. They were worried. Talked to a guy yesterday from Rocket Mortgage, told him I was sitting and waiting for 2008. He later told me he was too, and we laughed at it. He's not seeing any more data than you're seeing. So I don't see it. How's the commercial real estate doing in the Phoenix area? According to the Phoenix Business Journal, it's doing extremely well. There's a lot of large commercial projects on the board right now and being built, and commercial real estate's strong. Now, I don't know what's really going on in some of these small, areas like, Chandler, where if you go down like Chandler Boulevard and Warner, where that Fry's used to be and the Smiths used to be, and it's just all empty. I don't know what they're going to do with those places. 751 average homeowner borrower score now. Yeah, people are doing well. Cody, I've been looking for office space around Surprise, Peoria, and it's pretty empty, surprisingly. Not much inventory for rent. Thanks for that answer. Do you recommend national lenders or local mortgage brokers? I recommend local mortgage brokers. And by local mortgage broker, you can get a mortgage broker that lives out of state that's licensed to do business in Arizona. And the reason I recommend them is they can get you lower fees versus a national lender. And when you're looking at national lenders, be careful when you're online and you're getting a quote and you see it, because that's just an online quote. That's a teaser rate. So we laugh a lot. Like, Pat, what's your rate? People call and they want, what is your rate? Well, I don't know. What's your credit score? How much you putting down? What price are you looking at? What is your debt to income ratio? Then I get all that, and then I can tell you what kind of loans that I can show you and what their rate and their fees are. I can't just say, well, I'm 6.1. So all of that has to be taken into consideration. Can't do that online. You'll get some people that will tell you, I can get you at 5.8. Well, they can get you there, but it's going to cost you 2.5 points. It's going to cost you a bunch of other lender fees. So I recommend taking your time when shopping for a rate and providing the information. I mean, I talked to Dan Frio in Chicago, and he said they get calls 10 times a day. What's your rate? And he says, well, here's what I need from you. And then they go, I'm not giving you that. So, if it's going to play that way, you're just never going to get an accurate rate. So I'm welcoming the commercial construction going so I can get office space. I don't play in that sandbox. I've thought about it, but there isn't one rate. There's about 15 rates on the sheet every day. That's from Clayton. Yeah, and when you're looking at a mortgage broker, they're looking at maybe 30 to 100 lenders. And now you got a rate, then you got the cost, then you have their fees. Sometimes those fees can even be a credit. But it used to be that you could get, a 3% mortgage and actually get a $1,500 credit at close of escrow. Now that 3% mortgage is probably going to cost you $20,000. So you really need to give them the information so that they can look at every column and get you a good average rate. And if you're going to one of these click places and trying to get a rate, all you're doing is making your mouse happy. But that's about it. Let's see, Jackie. We have a great commercial broker. So yeah, contact Jackie if you're looking for a commercial. So I think going forward, make sure that you know what fits in your wallet. In other words, I can afford this payment. If I get in a house and it goes down in value, what does that mean to me personally? Am I moving in a couple of years? Am I staying put? If you're staying put and you got a fixed rate, and you got a payment you can afford, because you're going to be buying a house anyway. You're either going to be buying your own house or you're going to be buying your landlord's. So you kind of have to make that decision on your own. It's surprising with all the work from home that commercial property is still growing as strong as it is. Well, the commercial property is, big buildings where people are, building things, building components and stuff. That's what we're seeing out in the East Valley. B&G says, my realtor is pushing you to buy when the monthly payment will be third of our total household income. Their argument is prices won't adjust and we could just refinance later. Not sure how to feel. Yeah, use that tool. Figure it out. I think I would caution saying, go ahead and get in on this right now because in 3 years you can refinance, because I don't know. I'm only going to advise you on what I actually know. And all I actually know is what rates are today and what that payment looks like today and what the odds are of interest rates going up the rest of this year. Beyond that, they're just spitballing. Nobody has a crystal ball and any data that can say, here's where rates are going to be in 2024. They're going to be 4.2%. Really? How do you know that? In terms of cash flow from the real estate business, do you recommend making money from coming on a child or selling them in the Chinese market? What? The tool is excellent. Yeah, Stephanie, I sent that one to you yesterday. It's great. John, I don't even understand that question. I know you're having fun. That's the folly of YouTube right now. And people start talking about, fear of missing out. And you can get on and find any topic, and you can find the number that fits your narrative. If you are convinced that rates are going to skyrocket, you can scroll around in 15 minutes and you can find that guy. And if you're convinced that real estate's going to crash and it's going to crash by Christmas, you can find that guy. And that's just out there. The realtor is a vending machine. Be careful with their view. That realtor is a vending machine. Yeah. Who knows? It's a fun business and it can be a very frustrating business. But don't pretend your realtor's an economist. Don't pretend that they know. We're licensed to help you through the minefield of regulation. We're not licensed to be financial advisors. So just because we have access to the data and we know how to fill out contracts and we know how to write offers doesn't mean that we have this abundant knowledge on where the economy is going, because even the smart guys in the room get it wrong. Are single home lots seeing a price decrease as well? No, not yet. The only price decreases I'm seeing are people's expectations. I think I can get this much for my house now. Oops, I was wrong. I'm not seeing overall price decreases as far as price per square foot on closed listings, and I think I showed that number just a few minutes ago. With what is your professional opinion of what will happen in the housing market? Okay, so I think I just was yakking about, am I an economist? And I can have a professional opinion and I can have a personal opinion, and neither one of those will probably help you. I think in the short term, and I'm going to say past Labor Day, that sales are going to continue to be sluggish. inventory is going to continue to come up. You're going to see more and more investors get out. I think the iBuyers are going to have to make a critical decision right now of what their business model is going to look like. In other words, is Open Door going to continue to give you a good solid offer, remodel it, and be able to sell it for a profit? I think they're going to have to change their business model, and what that looks like, I don't know. But that's going to affect the amount of inventory that we have, and that's going to help ease pricing pressures, and it's going to help you get offers accepted and get concessions and get better terms, and you won't have to make a decision the same day that you see a house. That's my professional opinion. Personally, there's parts of the market, parts of this economy that scare me to death, but then I can get over that pretty quickly. You just give me a cocktail and I'm good. So I already lost my house in 2009. I'm already buying home, but I'm really scared about it happening again. Kenneth, that happens statistically every 70 years. 7-0. It's the only crash I've seen in my lifetime. And I mean over 35%. So, and people are, I get it. People are worried because they lost their house then. It's not a cyclical event. That was a one-off. Chairman Powell implied interest rates may increase 75 basis points at their next meeting in July. Yeah, but keep in mind, he may imply that, and if he just implies that, he may be verbally saying that because then the bond market will react and they'll already increase rates with the assumption that they're going to go up 0.75 just like last week. So, and by the time he raises it, 0.75, the price is already going to be built into the mortgages. Are homes listed over the 1.5 million range still seeing multiple offers? I believe it was mentioned on here before that was the range that still had a lot of demand. Salesmen sell no matter what the market says. Don't be a fool. I don't think I'm selling you anything, but thanks. The market above 1.5, it really depends. I don't think there's generally anything. I mean, I can look up closings over list price, but it kind of lags a little bit. I'll show it to you. Even Dave Ramsey's promoting his real estate pros, and home prices will not come down. You have to pay to be promoted on the Dave Ramsey show. So it's just kind of like advertising on Zillow. I'm not saying he's right, not saying he's wrong, but the best realtor to me is the one with the market knowledge, not sales knowledge. Yeah, I agree with that, Cody. Just knowing what's going on. So here's 49% are going over list price for homes that have closed in June. Let's see if I can filter this down by price. Here we are. 1 to 1.5 million, 35.7. 1.5 to 2 million, we have 34% going over list. And then when you look at the price, this is where it really gets screwy. Like here's 1 to 1.5 million. There were 101 homes sold, and it says it went either from $1,000 over list to $280,000. So it's all over the map. But that graph is coming down, and I expect we're going to be down in a 30% range within 60 days. I'm wishing on a 2008. I'm not. I think that caused a lot of pain for everybody, and I don't think we need that. I'm currently working on one of my rentals in NorCal, and I'll shell out big bucks. Many of those iBuyers are finding that it's the norm rather than the exception. You're living in a dream world if you believe there'll be another 2008, 2011. A lot of opinions out there, and that's good. That's why I wanted to do this live chat today, because I think I just want to help you sort through where to get the numbers, where to look at it, and play the scenarios in your own mind. I'm not the one buying the house, and it's like I was telling a seller last day. He always wanted me to call the agent and push him on his house, get with the buyers. And I said, I've never been able to convince a buyer to buy a house they don't want. I've never been able to say, yeah, ignore the kitchen, but let me show you this great garage. I mean, you either want the house or you don't. You either want to buy a home or you don't. And there's no talking you into it. I'll show you the home. And if you've ever been with me listing a home, I'll point out some things I don't like. I'll go, this it's a noisy street. You're going right up against Missouri Avenue here. It's pretty loud. Let's close all the doors and sit inside and see what it's like. And I'll tell you that. But I don't ever want the burden of trying to convince you that that's the house, because once you're done and you've moved in and you're tired and you sit down on the couch and you pour yourself a drink, you look up and go, God, I really don't like this place. I wish Rick would have kept his mouth shut. Some people truly care and want to help guide their clients. Thank you. It helped new home buyers and brought people to reality. Cromford has rental data. The average rent price per square foot example has been going up quite a bit, but not sure how accurate it is. Yeah, and the reason it's not very accurate is most renters don't put their rentals on the MLS. Ironically, the best place to advertise a rental is on Zillow or rent.rental.com. You don't need to put them on the MLS. And a lot of agents really don't deal with that because you make like $200 commission, and by the time you split it with your broker, you have a cup of coffee. So there's over 30,000 new built homes with permits in Phoenix waiting to come to market. Your thoughts on the current market direction? I think those 30,000 are, yeah, thanks, T. Adams. I hope I didn't come across too harsh there. I appreciate that. There are some out there, and I agree with you that I want to pull in their driveway and throat punch them, but I didn't say that out loud, did I? I think there are a lot of building permits out there, and we probably are able to fill all those, but that's why you're seeing building permits now starting to shrink. The builders can see that we're hitting a little normal market here and maybe subnormal. So that'll work itself out. But it's the other hard part is too, and I think somebody mentioned it the other day, that most of the new builds are in the outlying areas. And if you're working in Phoenix and you got these gas prices, now you don't want to live way out in Buckeye. I've had great success on Zillow for rentals. Absolutely. Be careful if you're looking for a rental on Craigslist. A lot of scams. I've seen it. I'll pull up a house. It looks like it's a great price. And then I cross-reference that address with the MLS, and lo and behold, it's for sale. That's why you see on a lot of listings, Open Door puts on the photo for sale, not for rent. They're trying to keep people from stealing the pictures and making fake Craigslist ads. A lot of new builds seem to be finishing in August, and I noticed there are a lot done in near Maricopa City. Yeah, Maricopa, they're finishing those things up, and I think that's why you're seeing the inventory increase, and that's why you're seeing the Cromford Market Index for Maricopa almost at normal. How are new homes versus existing home priced against each other? Is it at a point where there's better value in either direction? Do you see a trend that would move the value coming? I think what you're going to see in new builds, you're going to start seeing more incentives. And if you're out buying a resale home, those incentives might be more attractive to you, giving you, $5,000 more in upgrades, maybe buying down your interest rate, offering all kinds of different incentives. Those bonuses and stuff will start coming out before they start having wholesale price decreases. But at the same time, in resale, you're going to have the opportunity to get some better terms for your resale home. The two aren't really tied together. It's hard to tell. This has turned into a microwave society. Everybody wants it now. Yeah, but actually I have an air fryer and it died. I'm at a loss for dinner now. I had to order another one. If you've ever cooked in an air fryer, then you know what I'm talking about. East Buckeye is closer to downtown Phoenix than the many areas of Chandler and Gilbert. Absolutely. That commute from Gilbert to downtown can be a killer. Maricopa is growing on the west end of Phoenix. It's building out. I wish it wasn't. Wickenburg. Tap that like button if you think Rick's the man. Thanks, Tobin. New boomtown is Wickenburg to Surprise. It's a bridge, and you can't stop it. And they're going to be expanding the 93. I think they're going to add 2 more lanes to that between Wickenburg and I think Wickiup. I saw that this morning on the news. So that's a nice change. That's kind of a rough and dangerous road to go. Everybody's in a hurry to go to Vegas, so they don't even worry about the speed limit up there. They just and then they drive back much slower because they're broke. So, well, I hope everybody had a great time. I'm going to go ahead and end this here, and we're going to do it again next Saturday. I've got some interesting information coming out Monday morning, so tune in at 8:30. Hope to see you all there. Thanks again, everybody. Take care.